On Monday, February 23rd, Jay Bakker, the son of televangelist Jim Bakker, woke up late, struggling to get his kids ready for school. And waiting on his phone was a message from a TMZ producer asking him to confirm whether his father had just died from a stroke overnight. What did Jay say in response? You're going to want to hear every single word of it. Jim Bakker. For those who follow the world of televangelism, you know the name well. For those who don't, we'll get into his background in a moment, and I promise you, it's quite a ride. But the short version? Jim Bakker is 86 years old. He's had significant health issues. And honestly, a death rumor about him was only a matter of time. But the way this one got started, and who came knocking on his son's door, that's what made Jay Bakker put his foot down publicly. So it's Monday morning. Jay Bakker says he woke up late. He's trying to get the kids ready, rushing to get them out the door to school. Normal parent stuff. And then he sees a message on his phone. It was from Jamie Schramm, a senior producer at TMZ. And this is the actual message that was sent to Jay Bakker. Read this carefully. This message is for Jay Bakker. Mr. Bakker, my name is Jamie Schramm, and I am a senior producer at TMZ. We received information that your father, televangelist Jim Bakker, died from a stroke at a Missouri hospital overnight. I am reaching out to confirm this information. If true, allow me to express my deepest condolences. Thank you. Now just sit with that for a moment. A son wakes up, still half asleep, trying to get his kids to school, and that is waiting for him on his phone. TMZ had already received a tip that Jim Bakker died from a stroke at a Missouri hospital overnight. And rather than first verifying it through the family privately, the approach was to send a message to his son asking him to confirm it. Now, to Jamie Schramm's credit, there was a line of condolence in there. But let's be honest, when you're the son reading that message for the first time, cold, without any warning, that courtesy line doesn't soften the blow much. So what did Jay do? He went to Instagram. And he let the world know exactly what happened and exactly how he felt. Here is what Jay Bakker posted, in his own words. This morning, I woke up late and struggled to get my kids ready for school, only to be confronted with a disturbing message. Regrettably, so it wouldn't have been the first instance of receiving distressing news in this way. My father has endured multiple strokes over the past few years, but thankfully, he is still alive. I respectfully ask that you refrain from posting insensitive comments about my father, as this is not the essence of my concern. Instead, I am emphasizing the shortcomings of the media and the erosion of fundamental human compassion, which I believe is a factor in the erosion of life. This morning was incredibly traumatic, and the peculiarities of life. If you cannot help but post hurtful comments, I will block you. I understand that this may be a difficult time for many, but I am not in the right mindset to handle negativity at this moment. The world appears to be in a state of turmoil. Now, there is a lot packed into that statement. Let me break it down, because I think it deserves more than just a quick read-through. First, the most important headline, Jim Bakker is alive. He has had multiple strokes over the past few years, yes, but as of Jay's post on February 23rd, his father is still here. Second, Jay makes clear this is not the first time he's been hit with news like this about his father. His dad is 86. His health is fragile. This kind of message landing in his inbox isn't coming entirely out of nowhere. But that doesn't make it any less traumatic when it does. And third, and this is the part I want to really focus on, Jay deliberately pivots from the personal situation to something much bigger. He's not just venting about TMZ, he's making a statement about the world, about the erosion of fundamental human compassion. And he believes that erosion, that gradual loss of basic decency, is itself a factor in what's going wrong in society right now. That's a serious claim, and honestly, it's hard to argue with. Now here's the question I keep coming back to. Where did TMZ get this information in the first place? We don't know. Jay didn't address that. TMZ clearly received a tip, specific enough to include a location, a Missouri hospital, and a cause, a stroke. That's not a vague rumor. Someone told them something. Whether that information was credible, distorted, or completely fabricated, we can't say. What we do know is that Jim Bakker has had multiple strokes in recent years, as Jay confirmed. So the underlying health concern is very real. But multiple strokes over the past few years and died from a stroke at a Missouri hospital overnight are two very different things. And that gap, between what's real and what gets reported, is exactly what Jay is calling out. Jay Bakker is Jim's only son, born from his marriage to the late Tammy Faye Bakker. And Jay was just a teenager when his father's world came crashing down, when Jim Bakker was convicted of fraud and sent to federal prison. Think about what it's like to be a kid navigating that. Your dad is simultaneously one of the most famous and most disgraced preachers in America, and you're in high school. Jay eventually found his own path in ministry. He founded Revolution Church, based in the Seattle, Washington area. And when you look at what Revolution Church stands for, see, it couldn't be further from the PTL club world his father built. Revolution Church is described as a progressive, affirming church built around what Jay calls radical grace. They've held services in bars, in smaller venues. They have a strong online presence. And their theology runs in a direction that many, myself included, believe departs from what Scripture clearly teaches on several key issues. So these two men, father and son, stand at nearly opposite ends of the theological spectrum. And yet here's Jay, publicly defending his father's life, saying, he's still here. Even through a complicated, layered, decades-long relationship, that son still felt the weight of that message on his phone. That tells you something about the bond between a parent and a child that theology can't fully undo. Now look, I'm not going to pretend I've been easy on Jim Bakker over the years because I haven't. And I won't start now. This is a man who was convicted of fraud. He built a prosperity gospel empire and used it to take advantage of people who trusted him with their faith and their finances. And after prison, after all of it, he came right back and kept going. Selling food buckets to survive the tribulation. Miracle blankets. Survivalist products are marketed to frightened, elderly Christians who genuinely believe the apocalypse is around the corner. And let's not forget, just last year, in May of 2025, Bakker went on his show and told his viewers that if they didn't send him $1 million within a couple of weeks, his ministry would be finished. He said they were going to foreclose on his home. He said, on air, they're going to take my house and I'll be in the street. And then he turned right around and quoted Psalm 37. I've never seen the righteous forsaken, or his seed out begging for bread. Spoiler. His ministry did not shut down. It is still running. Jim Bakker is still on the air. And the cycle continues. So here's where everything stands. Jim Bakker is alive. Jay Bakker spoke out with clarity and emotion, and his message went far beyond just correcting a death rumor. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think TMZ crossed a line with the way that message was sent? What's your reaction to what Jay Bakker said in his post? And what do you make of the broader point he's raising about the media and human compassion? Sound off in the comments below. Your engagement genuinely helps this channel reach more people. And more importantly, these are conversations worth having. If you're new here, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if this video gave you something to think about, share it with someone who needs to see it. I'll see you in the next one.